Hola chicos, soy Señorita Schaefer, and today we're going to talk about the present progressive tense in Spanish, including the irregular forms. So all of the information here is on page 171 in your textbooks. First we're going to review how to form the present progressive, and then we're going to talk about the irregulars. So our big question for this video that I want you to be able to answer by the end of the video is, how do we say what somebody is doing? And the key important part of this question is this ing right here. So we're going to talk about, in Spanish, how do we create the ing along with the is that we use in this form in English. And then we need the present participle of lavar. So we're going to cut off the AR ending, leaving us with lav, and then because it's an AR verb, we'll add ando. Yo estoy lavando. I am washing. To say we are learning, we would go along the same lines here. So we're going to use the nosotros form of estar, estamos, and then we're going to cut the ER or IR off of aprender, aprend, and because it's an ER verb, we'll add yendo. Nosotros estamos aprendiendo. If you need extra practice with how to form the present participle of the verb, you can go to page 171. There are a couple of examples there for you. So first we're going to review how to use the present participle. This is something that you guys learned in Spanish 1, but it was a while ago, so we're going to work on it again. So we use the present tense of the form estar. Oops, get my right pen here. Of estar to say that someone is doing something, or I am doing something. Remember, estar means to be, and that's what it means in English too, but we don't usually use it in the infinitive form. So we usually hear am, is, are, etc. And then we form the present participle by 1, cutting off the stem, just like every time we've learned how to conjugate. So cut off the AR, the ER, or the IR. And then adding ando for AR verbs and yendo for ER or IR verbs. So for example, if you wanted to say I am washing, you would say yo estoy. We're going to use the yo form of estar. So what we're really going to focus on in this video is the irregular present participle forms of these verbs, and that's what's new to us this year. So we have 2 different kinds of irregulars that we're going to learn. So the first that we're going to learn is IR stem changing verbs. So when you have a verb that is an IR ending, and you know that it stem changes in the present tense, it's also going to stem change in the present participle tense, but it's going to do so a little bit differently. So if you have a verb that's usually and it has an E that stem changes, whether that be to I or to IE. In the present participle, it's going to change E to just I. If you have a verb that's usually O to UE, like dormir, in the present participle, it's just going to change O to U. So it helps me to remember, because we're adding such long endings to these verbs, we don't need to add multiple letters in the middle. We're just going to keep it simple, add 1, or change 1. So for example, if we have decir, the E is going to change to I, and then we'll use the usual ending, and we'll end up with diciendo. For decir means to say or to tell, so you can write that into your notes if you need to. For pedir, to ask for or to order, the E will change to an I, and then we'll add our yendo, because it's an IR verb. So pidiendo. Remember that you also need your form of estar with these, so I'll do them all in the yo form. Yo estoy diciendo, yo estoy pidiendo. Repetir, the second E stem changes in the present tense, so we're going to change that one here as well. Yo estoy repitiendo. Seguir. Seguir means to follow. The E will change to an I in this form. So we have yo estoy siguiendo. Servir means to serve. This E will change to an I. Sirviendo. And if you just want to do me a favor, pause your video real quick and see if you can figure out vestir on your own. Hopefully, you remember that vestir means to get dressed or to dress oneself. It's usually reflexive, vestirse. The E will change to an I, and we have vistiendo. Dormir is the only IR verb that we've learned that has an O to UE stem change. So the O will change to just a U, and we will end up with durmiendo. Yo estoy durmiendo, I am sleeping. The last thing that we're going to talk about in relation to the present progressive tense today is using object pronouns with the present progressive. So object pronouns could be direct object pronouns like lo and la. It could be indirect object pronouns, me, te, le, or it could be reflexive pronouns like me, te, and se. So as you might guess, based on what we've done before, there are two places that you can put direct object pronouns or any other kinds of pronouns. First, you can put them before the conjugated verb. So for example, if we wanted to talk about I dress myself, usually vestirse is a reflexive verb. So if we want to say I dress myself, we'll say, or I am dressing myself. Yo is I. And then we need to say am. So remember, we're going to use a form of estar. For yo, we're going to conjugate estoy. Yo estoy. Because vestir is a stem-changing verb in the present tense, we need to change here as well. Remember, it'll be I to I. So yo estoy vistiendo. And then we need to put the me somewhere. So our first option is to go ahead and put it right in front of estoy. Yo me estoy vistiendo. As you might guess, based on other things that we've learned, your second option is to attach that object pronoun to the end of the infinitive. And in this case, it's going to be the participle. So you'll notice when we use ando and yendo, it's not conjugated like a traditional verb. It's not different per person. So our conjugated verb that we're talking about, when you say you can put it right before the conjugated verb, is that form of estar. When we're talking about attaching it to the end, we're going to attach it to the end of the participle, or the thing that ends in ando or yendo. So, in this situation, oops, get my color back. We could say, yo estoy, same thing, I am vistiendo, and then we can add that direct object pronoun or reflexive pronoun to the end of our participle. So here we have it before estoy. Here we have it at the end of our participle. Now you might remember from our conversation on commands that we do need to think about the emphasis on this word. So the natural emphasis on a word goes on the second to last syllable. So here we have vis, ti, en, do. our second to last syllable is going to be N. So that's where the natural emphasis falls, vistiendo. Now when we add me, we're adding another syllable. That means that the second to last syllable is now do, so it would be vistiendome. And we don't want to change the way that the word sounds. So we're going to count 3 syllables back on the new word or 2 syllables back on the original word, where our natural emphasis was, and then we'll go ahead and put our accent on that word. So just don't forget that when you're adding it to the end. So our big question for today asked, how do we say what someone is doing? And the overarching answer here is that we're going to use the present progressive, this tense that we just talked about. Now there's a couple things that we need to remember when we talk about conjugating the present progressive. First of all is that you use a form of estar, and then you use your participle. Today we learned how to form the participle. We reviewed that you add ando for AR verbs or yendo for IR and ER verbs. We talked about the irregulars, IR stem changers, that stem changers with the E change to I and with the O change to U. We talked about ER verbs with lots of vowels, like creer, leer, and traer, and how in that one the I changes to a Y. And then we talked about adding object pronouns, and how when you add an object pronoun, you can either put it before estar or after your participle attached to the end. But if you attach it, then you need to think about an accent. If you attach it, add an accent. Gracias por mirar hoy, chicos. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know or ask me next time you see me in class. There's also some practice on your note sheet along with on page 171. See you next time.